Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Fiso. Thank you for tuning in. Today I'm talking about something that I never thought I would ever say on video. My topic for today is sexually transmitted debt. Yep, I just say that. You know what? I've always known about STDs. I'm sure you have too. But I've always thought it's a medical term. It's about a disease, but not about debt. And then I found out that there is STD in the money space. There is STD in the finance space. And that stands for sexually transmitted debt. Okay? There are two instances that I'll talk about where how this might arise. Okay, so the first instance is you are in a relationship with somebody, you know, maybe like dating stage, you're dating in a relationship with somebody, and then you decide that okay, you want to now buy things together, like assets or things that cost you more money. You want to, you know, pull your resources together and take credit or get a loan to buy something together jointly. And then your better half is denied a loan because of their financial past. Your financial past will follow you. Okay, so you just found out. Okay, that's one. Number two, the way it might arise is you are married, and then you've got a joint loan, or for instance a mortgage, and then within that marriage something happens, or one of you, their financial standing changes, or their financial situation changes, or you might not be married, you might be just living together but with assets, buying joint assets. Okay, and then one of you, their financial situation changes, maybe, you know, they lose a job and then they are unable to meet their part of the bargain, you know. And then if that happens, and then it's called STD, sexual transmitted debt. So I'm gonna focus on the first one. We can't do anything about where you are married and, you know, someone loses their job. You can't do anything about that. But I feel like we can do something about you are in the dating stage, and then you find yourself that somebody, you know, is denied a loan, or, you know, I think you can do something about that, or you can be able to pick up things that, okay, this person, the way they handle their finances is like this, or I don't know, maybe educate them or do something together, do a course together. So you know what, these are the things that I've really noticed just in life in general. You know, like some people, they are really good with managing their money, like very good with managing their money. You find that, I'm talking about like at that stage where you are single, they're very good at managing their money. You know, they got their money game going good, and they've got their savings, or they've got no debt or low levels of debt. They understand what's happening into their bank account, whether money is coming in or money is drawing out. They are in control of their money. Okay, and then maybe they decide to get married or get in a serious relationship, and then they find out that their other half financial past is terrible. All right, I mean, I don't know what they really do, but I would assume that in such an instance, if you are, maybe you'd ask your other half to now put all their money or most of their money towards clearing their debts, and then you find yourself now covering all your living expenses. I don't know if that's what they do, but I think that's another plan, so that they can clear their past, and then you start on a new footing. And the other thing that can happen is that due to their past, or your other half's past, or your partner's past, now maybe they want to buy something, maybe buy a car or get a loan to buy a car, but then they can't get a loan, and then they ask you, because you've got a good credit history, they ask you to now take a loan using your name, and then they buy a car under their name. That's what might end up happening. And then if that relationship doesn't work, and you know, the relationship ends, you find yourself with a debt and you don't even have the car. So yeah, these are some of the ways that STD, sexually transmitted death, can arise. So yeah, so I just thought, you know what, it's very good to know about this. It's you know, especially at that stage, dating stage or whatever, it's very good to know about this so that you can be on the lookout for these things, because you don't want to get married. People, you know, like when people get married, you know, you expect it to be like good, you know, have a great time, honeymoon stage. You don't want to say as soon as your honeymoon stage is over, you find that all the dreams that you had, maybe the dreams of owning a home, the dreams of buying the car that you love, or maybe the dreams of traveling as a couple, you find that all the dreams that you had about your marriage, they've just gone downhill because you were not aware of the other person's financial past. All right, so I think I've compiled a few tips to educate rather, so that we can avoid some of these things from happening to us. Tip number 1, be careful about being a guarantor. Like a guarantor is when they enter into a transaction and then they put your name that you will, if in case they are not able to pay whatever they're supposed to pay, in case they are not able to meet their commitments, you will pay on their behalf. So be careful. Don't agree to be a guarantor for someone. You know, I know, like, especially when people are in love, you know, they just agree to everything. You might find yourself in a situation where, you know, you're being pursued for the debts that had nothing to do with you if the relationship ends. Another thing that you need to avoid is, that you have to be careful about, if you live in a house, normally people in shared accommodation, usually they would all have their individual contracts, but some people, they might get in a contract together as a couple and then sign a lease as a couple, okay? And then what happens, the relationship ends and then you move out. You need to make sure you let your estate agent know that you've moved out. And I know with leasing contract, you can't just move out anytime. Usually you move at the end of your lease, okay? So let's say it's the end of your lease. Normally some leases, they move onto a rolling contract, like a month-by-month basis. When you know you want to move out, you give your notice and then you move out. So you communicate that. Otherwise, all the bills will be still coming under your name. Or maybe like things like, you know, your gas and electricity, they'll be under both names. So even if you've moved out and that person is still there, the gas and the electric company, or rather the utilities company, they'll be still assuming that you live in that house. So if that person now defaults now from paying, they'll go after you because your name is there. So you need to make sure you communicate that you've moved out of that place. Otherwise, you'll be left with a debt. Number 3 is make sure you understand what you are signing. Okay, so I know a lot of people, like, I don't want to say a lot of people, but you know the contract are generally like lots of pages, and I know a lot of people don't read them. They don't read the contract, they don't read the small print. Okay, they just go like, you know, it's just I don't know, a sales contract, let me just sign, it's just a standard contract. Make sure you read, make sure you know what it is that you are signing. Don't just sign, put your name without understanding what it is that you're signing. There's a term I learned at university, a Latin term. I'm not gonna say it because I'll say it wrong, but basically what it means is that ignorance at law is no excuse. You cannot say at law, you cannot say when you're being sued, you cannot say, oh,
I didn't know what I was signing.
He or she asked me to sign. She said sign under the dotted line. You cannot plead ignorance in law. You cannot plead ignorance in court. So you got to know what you are signing. Someone asks you to put your name, know what it is that you're signing. Tip number 4 is, you know what? When people are dating, you should talk about money. I don't think people do talk about money. You should talk about money. You should discuss money. You should ask the other person, what are their financial goals? You know, do they have any? People set career goals, like, you know, someone will tell you that, oh, you know, I'm doing this in the next 2 years. I'm looking at doing this. Okay, ask them about their financial goals. What are your financial goals? You know, get to know, like, do they really think about their money? Do they have a goal in place? Is there something that they're working towards? Okay, because normally when you don't have a goal, you don't have a financial goal, or you don't have any goal in life, you're not doing anything. You just, whatever comes, you do. When the wind blows to the west, you go. When the wind blows to the east, when the wind blows to the north, you go. But someone with a financial goal, they'll be telling you that, okay, now I'm working towards this, and then I'm working towards this, and then I'm working towards that. Then if you notice that they don't have a financial goal, maybe you can introduce it and say, okay, how about you work towards this? How about you set your goals and work towards something? So use it as a platform, an opportunity to educate someone who didn't know. It will be for your good. If you happen to get married and the relationship works, it will be for your own good. Tip number 5, listen carefully. You know, when you are dating, listen carefully to what someone says and watch what it is that they do, how they make their decision. Like, I'm not a spontaneous person, just to say, and that doesn't mean that people who are spontaneous are bad with money, but I'm sure some of them are good, even though they are spontaneous. Okay, some of them are good. So when I say listen carefully and watch, I'm just saying watch their habits or how they do things, how they deal with their money, you know, what they're doing. I mean, I know even if you're spontaneous, I wouldn't expect you to say, if I say, hey, let's go to Paris, I'm in Australia, hey, let's go to France, Paris right now, you're like, hey, let's go to America, yeah, let's go to this place, you know. For me, it would be alarm bells telling me that you don't even sit and think about your finances to say, where am I gonna get that from? Okay, what's the plan? How am I gonna raise that money? And then it's different from someone who says, oh, how about next year we have a trip to America? How about the year after we go to Paris? To me, it's telling me that, or Paris in France, okay? So to me, it's telling me that you are planning, somehow you are planning that in a year's time, you work and raise the money. Unlike the other example that I gave, today Paris, here I go, today here, there I go. My last tip, which is tip number 6, watch their relationship with money. Are they spenders? Are they savers? Are they investors? Are they shoppers? So watch, yeah, you'll be able to pick where that person sits. And also, you have to identify yourself first, what kind of a person you are, okay? And then, once you've identified yourself, and then you'll be able to identify the other person where they sit, okay? If they are a shopper, you know, they're always shopping every day. You know, they get money, they think, what am I going to buy with this money, okay? If they are a spender, if they're a shopper, they get money, they go like, which shop should I go to? Which shops have got to sell? Which shop? It's all about shops. If they are an investor, they'll be telling you that I just got this money and, you know, I wasn't expecting it, or I'm thinking of investing it in this. You can tell where someone is. People who are investors generally, I've noticed that investors don't normally spend a lot on themselves. They normally put more of their money on investments. That is what is priority to them. And then shoppers, whatever comes, they spend, you know. Yeah. Okay, so guys, I mean, when I saw this, I thought, wow, this is really good, you know, let me share it with people so that people know that there is the sexual transmitted disease, deaths, not diseases. There are sexual transmitted deaths, and most people have them and they're not even aware of them. Most people, they are in that stage of dating, they're seeing the signs, but they don't know what it is and they don't know what to deal with them. So I thought, if I share this video, hopefully it will help you. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you haven't found yourself with a car debt, paying for a car which is not in your name, but you've got a debt in your name. If you did, now you know, maybe make sure it doesn't happen to you next time. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this video and found it educative. Share it, like it, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.